Be prepared, because what is about to happen tomorrow night is something I genuinely believe most people are not ready for. And I do not say that to scare you, I say that because I think you need to hear it before it hits. Tomorrow, Sunday, July 12th, the Sun and Mercury are going to merge into a single point in the sky. An exact conjunction at 20 degrees of Cancer. And in ancient astrology, this moment has a very specific name. It is called a Cazimi. It is an Arabic word that translates roughly to "in the heart of the sun." And when you understand what that actually means, not just astronomically, but energetically, I think it is going to completely shift how you experience the next 48 hours. Because this isn't just another transit, this isn't Mercury retrograde drama, this is the one moment during the entire retrograde where the fog lifts. Where the confusion, the emotional chaos, the miscommunications, all of it suddenly clears, and in its place, a single piercing moment of truth, a message, something you have been circling around for weeks, maybe years, that finally clicks into place. And here's what's really getting my attention. I believe 3 zodiac signs are about to receive that message louder than anyone else, and for them, nothing will look the same after tomorrow. I'm going to break down exactly who they are and what is coming for each of them later in this video. But first, this past week you may have been feeling emotionally drained, old memories may have kept resurfacing out of nowhere, and conversations with family members may have felt heavier than usual. If any of that sounds familiar, I need you to stay with me, because there is a very specific reason all of that has been happening, and it is directly connected to what unfolds tomorrow night. Everything you have been feeling, it has been building toward this exact moment. Why this week has felt so intense? So let me explain what has actually been going on, because this week has not just been rough, I think it has been one of the most energetically dense weeks of the entire year, and most people have no idea why. It started on July 4th, when Mars formed an exact conjunction with Uranus in Gemini. Now, if you felt a sudden jolt that day, a shock, a disruption, an argument that came out of nowhere, something breaking or shifting without warning that was not random, that alignment is like a lightning strike to the nervous system. It shatters things, it cracks open the surface and shows you what has been hiding underneath. And here's the part that really matters. Both Mars and Uranus were in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. So all of that explosive, chaotic energy, it got deposited directly into Mercury's hands. But Mercury is retrograde in Cancer, which means your mind couldn't process any of that logically. It had to process it emotionally, and if that felt overwhelming, you're not alone. I've been feeling it too. Then on July 6th, the Sun in Cancer formed a harsh square to Saturn in Aries. And if you felt crushed under the weight of responsibility that day, like you were being tested, squeezed, asked to hold more than you could carry, that is exactly what this aspect does. It pits your need for emotional safety against the cold, hard demands of reality. It is exhausting, and it was meant to be. And then just yesterday, Neptune stationed retrograde in Aries, which dissolved whatever remaining certainty you were clinging to. Boundaries got blurry, your sense of direction got foggy. You might have felt unusually sensitive, almost psychically porous, like you could feel everything around you at a volume you weren't prepared for. So by the time we arrive at tomorrow, you have been through a week of shocks, limitations, and dissolving boundaries. And I think all of it was designed to bring you to your knees just enough that you would finally be willing to hear what the Cazimi has to say. Because the message it carries, I do not think it arrives for people who are comfortable. It arrives for people who are ready. What a Cazimi actually is, and why tomorrow's is so rare. Okay, so let me break this down, because I think understanding the mechanics makes this so much more powerful. During Mercury retrograde, Mercury is technically weakened. In traditional astrology, when a planet gets too close to the Sun, it enters a state called combustion. It is like being scorched. The planet cannot function properly. It is blinded by the Sun's light, and that is why retrogrades feel the way they do. The miscommunications, the tech glitches, the emotional confusion. Mercury is essentially operating in the dark. But here's where it gets fascinating. There is one single exception, one brief window where everything flips. When Mercury reaches the exact degree of the Sun, not close, not nearby, but the precise mathematical center, something extraordinary happens. Instead of being burned, Mercury is welcomed into what ancient astrologers called the throne room of the Sun. It is purified, renewed, flooded with solar power. And for a few hours, the planet that has been stumbling in the dark suddenly operates with absolute brilliance. The confusion vanishes, the fog lifts, and what comes through is sharp, undeniable clarity. Now, here's why tomorrow's Cazimi is particularly significant. This is what is called an inferior conjunction, meaning Mercury is passing directly between the Earth and the Sun. It is the closest Mercury gets to us during its entire cycle. And because of that, the effects aren't abstract or distant, they're deeply personal, visceral, internal. Think of it like a new moon, but for your mind, old mental patterns get incinerated. Outdated beliefs, inherited narratives, the stories you've been telling yourself for years, they burn away, and in their place, a completely new cycle of understanding begins. And I think the timing is everything. At 7 tomorrow evening, the moon, the ruler of Cancer, enters its home sign. Just a few hours later, at 9:30, the Sun and Mercury fuse at 20 degrees Cancer. So the Cazimi happens with the moon co-present in its own sign, which means the emotional power of this moment is amplified beyond what we would normally expect. This isn't just clarity. I believe this is clarity that you feel in your bones, in your body, in the places where logic doesn't reach. The message won't come the way you expect. And this is where I really need you to pay attention. Because here's what I've noticed about this specific Cazimi. The insight it delivers doesn't arrive the way most people think it will. It is not going to come through a dramatic text message or some earth-shattering phone call, though it might. More likely it is going to come as something much quieter. A feeling, a knowing. A moment where something just clicks and you think, I have always known this, I just was not ready to admit it. Because this Cazimi falls in Cancer, the sign of memory, of ancestral roots, of the emotional body, the truth it reveals is not new information. I think it is something you have carried inside you for a very long time. Something your conscious mind has been rationalizing away, explaining around, building walls to avoid. And tomorrow, for a brief window, those walls come down, not violently, not dramatically, they just dissolve. And what is left is this quiet, undeniable inner knowing that hits you right in the center of your chest, the kind of truth your body recognizes before your brain catches up. Some of you will feel it as grief, some as relief, some as both at the same time. And if that happens, if you find yourself suddenly emotional for reasons you can't quite explain, don't fight it. I really believe that is the Cazimi doing exactly what it is supposed to do. The ancient Sabian symbol for this exact degree, the 21st degree of Cancer, is described as a prima donna singing. A performer stepping onto the stage and commanding the entire room with the raw power of her voice. And I think that image tells you everything you need to know about what tomorrow is asking of you. It is asking you to stop hiding, to stop swallowing your truth, to stop performing the safe, edited version of yourself, and instead to speak what you actually feel with the kind of conviction that does not apologize, that does not shrink. But here's the shadow side, and I think this is important. The prima donna can also overplay her role. She can dramatize for the sake of attention. She can manipulate through emotion. So the real question the Cazimi is asking is this. Where is your voice authentic, and where is it just noise? Where are you speaking from genuine truth, and where are you performing pain to avoid real vulnerability? That distinction is everything tomorrow.